Welcome to the online course for state and local government for the fall 2019 semester here at Bergen College. This will be a short video that goes over the syllabus. I'll be your professor for the course, Richard Laird. So what we'll do for this video, we'll get into Moodle. I'll be using Moodle exclusively for this course, and we will talk about the syllabus in detail, which includes participation requirements, the class assignments, tests, grading, and the course schedule. So let's go ahead and get into that. So here's the front page of the Bergen College website. So obviously if you're watching this video, you've already accessed this, but let's just go through it. Click here on mybergen.edu and that'll take us to the portal page that has your courses over here on the right hand column. So we'll click over here on state local government and that'll take us to our Moodle page. You'll have to log into these with your username and password. The class officially starts September 25th. As you can see, there's the syllabus. It's already been posted there on that week. So we'll click on that and we'll go straight to the syllabus. All right, so here is my email, which will be you can use to contact me at any time, as well as we'll be posting things on Moodle. I have an office in the Bergen building, and I recommend that you come by and visit. This is typically when I'm there, but if you want to send me an email to let me know you're coming, that would help as well. The course is going to be the study of state, county, municipal political systems. We'll talk about how the concept of federalism works in the United States. We'll talk about the structure and processes of state and local governments, a lot of commonalities between them, and we'll look at the relationships between the state and local governments, as well as a little bit of the federal government involvement. We're putting a little bit of attention on the state of New Jersey and Bergen County. The textbook is required. There's a picture of it on the first page there. And the latest is the 10th edition of State and Local Government by Bowman and Kearney. It's also available as a digital book as well, but the course is coming straight from this book, and I would even recommend that you would have the book while you're watching the video lectures to go along. I'll also be posting occasional supplemental articles on Moodle. You'll be wanting to keep up with current events and concerning politics and government. We will want to use credible news sources, particularly for our paper assignments. And most important source for your paper will be peer-reviewed academic journals, which I will give you videos on how to access them, how important they are, how to use them in the writing of your paper. Now, as far as the online course participation, most importantly, this is not a self-paced course. You can't leave all this until the last week of the course and then try to do it all. This will be, at the very least, be going from one week to the next. In some cases, bi-weekly. When I give an assignment, there may be a deadline on it, and that deadline will pass, and then it will no longer be available. So you have to keep up. You'll need to check Moodle and your school email every day, just in case something gets posted on there that I will need a fairly quick response on. Some form of attendance will be taken on a regular basis to ensure that students are engaged in the course. That will also help me in determining the participation grade, which is 20% of your total grade. Participation is vital in these online courses in order to keep up with the material and keep the class organized and orderly here. All right, so as seen on Moodle, the schedules each week will run from Wednesday through Tuesday, just as it is matching up on the Moodle calendar. And that coincides with our start of Wednesday, September 25th. It'll shift after Thanksgiving, where the weeks will go through Monday through Friday, technically Monday through Sunday. What we'll be looking at least be one video lecture per week, typically 2 video lectures per week, in order to keep up with the book, because there's 18 chapters in the book, and there'll be 1 video lecture per chapter. They'll be posted on Moodle at the first of each of those weeks. I may not post them simultaneously because I may want to do a exercise on one that we'll do, and then I'll post the next one. So that's why you want to keep up on a daily basis. And each week there'll be some form of an exercise. Most of these could simply be just a discussion question that has something to do with the video lecture that week that you will have to respond to within the deadline, and that will be a sort of an attendance participation grade activity as well. There may be an exercise where the class will work on this as a group, so that's going to be requiring you to interact with each other through Moodle occasionally in order to get a final answer to the discussion question or to complete the exercise. This might even require a class representative who could either volunteer, or you could select one, since this is a political class. May want to do that even early on in the class if somebody wants to be the designated representative, contact, whatever. So keep in mind that if you do not respond by the deadline shown, that would, of course, be counted like an absence in a regular class and will affect your attendance grade. So it's very important that you read the textbook. Keep up with the readings on that, and as I said, it would be useful to have the book, either the digital version or the hard copy version, with you as you're watching the video so you can kind of keep up with it. And there may be some questions or quiz topics that could come directly from the text, but as you'll see fairly quickly, the videos are pretty much connected to the textbook. So that's where the bulk of the material is coming from. Now, this is one of the problems that I've seen with the online courses is people not spending enough time on it, not being engaged in it, not keeping up. When you're taking a normal class at the college, you're spending almost 3 hours per week in the classroom. So would not expect that to be any different for an online course at minimum. Now, as far as tests, online quizzes, there'll be at least 3 online quizzes. I've got them spaced out through the class, about 5 chapters each. Those 3 quizzes will be 35% of the total grade. They'll be open book and open note tests, but they will be timed, and so there'll be a little bit of pressure there to be prepared. You will want to be prepared for these quizzes, even though you may have the book, the notes, the slides, the lecture there handy. You'll want to be prepared in order to get the questions done within that time frame. Now, the fairest thing I can do with as far as the evaluation is to require at least one test that will be taken in the testing center at the Paramus campus. So the final test will be taken during the last week of class. That'll be the 20% of the total grade, and it will be a comprehensive test. I'll give you a study guide that will cover the topics that will be on the final test. That will be a final evaluation that is the fairest way to test all the students in the class. And this is very important. The last day of class for us is going to have to be Friday, December 20th, and the testing center could potentially be closed at noon, but the deadline is noon on Friday, December 20th. I'll of course remind you of this, but keep that in mind. This will be a 90-minute test without notes, without books. So you will have to be prepared for that final test in the testing center. And you do not want to miss that test because that's 20% of your grade. You don't want to miss the deadline on any of these online quizzes because that will give you a blank for that portion of the class, which would hurt your grade. So you want to keep up with the material, keep up on the schedule, and know when the deadlines are. Take the online tests and within the deadline. The test will include a mix, more than likely, of things like multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, as we've seen here, and even a short essay question. Even on the online quiz, we'll probably have a short essay question that you'll need to be prepared for by studying the material of those chapters. Now, there will be a series of paper assignments leading up to a final paper here. So each student will choose a current topic in the United States that is relevant to the class, state and local government. There's lots of things going on out in the world, particularly a topic that states are dealing with that federal government, this is our federal system that I'll talk about, federal government may not be addressing, or may it be it's some form of conflict or disagreement or at odds with certain states over this particular issue, or the federal government may just not be keeping up with it. So the states are tackling this issue. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to email me, or we will even have a discussion forum there on various topics. I'm going to spread these topics out because there's lots of stuff going on out there in the United States that would be interesting to write about, learn about. Current topic, that could also mean a topic that's been around for quite a while. States have been dealing, Americans in general have been dealing with things for a long time that have not been resolved, not been solved, or that just can be continuously having to deal with these. So the first thing that you'll need to do is think of a topic. So a one-page summary of this topic will be due during week 3. Describe the issue, why it's important, why it's worth analyzing in our U.S. system of federalism. And I'll need at least 2 credible news sources on that. We might have a little bit more input and instruction on credible news sources on that, but there's lots of good, credible, legitimate news agencies out there that are trying to get the facts out. So use 2 news sources that are helping you explain that topic with your first one-page summary. Then on week 7, I will want a preliminary list of at least 3 peer-reviewed academic sources of that topic where it's been analyzed by the scientific community, political scientific community, gone through the peer-reviewed process, published in one of these academic journals that I'll even post a video lecture on how to access these peer-reviewed topics. And then your 4-page minimum analysis of your topic will be due on week 11, the next to the last week of class, because the last week of class will be the final test in the testing center. So here's where you're using your academic sources to describe what this problem is, how it's been analyzed, what are the social costs to people of this problem, why are states differing as to how they pursue this problem. Some states pursuing it, some states perhaps not, some states completely pursuing this topic in different directions. The old red state versus blue state divide might be a factor in this. And what might be the conflict between the states and the federal government on this? Why are states opposing or countering what the federal government has already done on this? Or why isn't the federal government addressing this? This is kind of at the heart of our federalist system that I'll be explaining during class. Keep in mind, the paper is for analysis, objective analysis, not for the purpose of expressing opinions. This is very important because the purpose of college is to learn about stuff, not to spout what you believe is wrong with the world. You don't need college for that. The purpose of this is to demonstrate what you have learned from this topic from your credible, legitimate sources. You want to be descriptive, explanatory. You want your paper to be interesting. It's got lots of information in it. So craft your paper in a logical, organized manner so that the reader stays with it. This is interesting. The reader can learn something from it. Papers will be emailed or attached to Moodle, and I would prefer that in a Word file, so therefore I can grade it online and email it back to you. So let's make a note there, and let's keep it in a Word file. I'll also be posting a guide to writing your paper that will help you improve your writing as far as being more objective, analytical, critical, that sort of thing. The format for all the assignments on the Word file will be double-spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman with 1-inch margins. Following directions is important in any class. There will be a minimum of 6 sources, 6 references for your paper, at least 4 of which will be from peer-reviewed academic journals, which we will be talking about quite a bit throughout the class. And there will be citation formats that I will show you as well. Anything that you take from a source, whether it's paraphrasing it or quoting it, you'll need to cite your sources for that passage. Do not cut and paste anything under any circumstances. That is plagiarizing as well as breaking the honor code we'll talk about here. The papers are for the purpose of demonstrating your ability to gather information from credible sources and display your understanding of that assigned topic, putting it in your own words. This is very valuable, very important. When you read this material that can some cases be quite dense, that if you can understand that material and then put it in your own words to tell somebody else, that is really exercising your brain, and that promotes learning. You're taking it to the next level when you do that. Now, any form of cheating is unacceptable. You could get expelled from the school for cheating. So during the tests, there's no communicating between the tests, and obviously the test in the testing center, the final test will be monitored, of course, and all of your work will be your own work. Keep in mind that any suspicious similarities between any student's papers or any test answers would warrant an investigation. So this is very important, and I take this very seriously. So don't even think about it. Again, copying from another source to your paper without sourcing it, that is plagiarizing it. So do not do that. Be sure to cite your sources particularly for any quotes or for any paraphrasing, which the bulk of your paper, as I will explain, will be from other sources. So at the end of that paragraph, you can say this is where this information come from. You're putting it in your own words, but then you're telling me where it came from. Now, the online quizzes, as I said, will be 35% of your grade. The paper assignments all total will be 25% of your grade. Final test, also 20%. And class exercises and participation, which as you can see is 20% of your grade. Therefore, very important to keep up with the class and do the discussions and exercises in the timely manner. All right, now you can look at the schedule here at your own time, but as we see, I've got it broken down into weeks. The first week starting September 25th through October 1st. I'll be posting the first 2 chapters there in video, And so there we see by the time we get to week 3, online quiz 1 will be there. Your summary of your paper topic is due that week as well. I'll also post another video that explains what the peer-reviewed academic journals are, why they're important, and how to access them. So as you can see, there's the next chapters. And then by the time we get to week 7, there's online quiz number 2, looking at chapters 6 through 12. I will also be wanting your preliminary paper sources during that time. I may post this earlier, but at least by this time I'll be posting a video that's giving you useful instruction on how to write your paper. And then as we continue here after Thanksgiving, schedule shifts slightly from Monday to Sunday. Online quiz, the third one there, will be chapters 13 through 17. Paper will be due, as you can see there, on week 11. And then the final week in class, Monday through Friday, December 16th through the 20th. Final test will be in the testing center at the Paramus campus. And very important, that test must be completed by noon that Friday, December 20th. Okay, so the first lecture and discussion question will be posted on Wednesday, September 25th. So good luck, and I will see you in class.